What's up guys, hope you're doing great. This is your boy Kobe Shots, and in today's video we're going to look at a lighting breakdown, most importantly for the latter stages of this video, on how I shot a music video, the processes, the directing, the lighting, and each and everything that we did on set. We're going to look at that in this particular video. So without much ado, please don't click away, way through to the end of this video, and I'm sure that you're going to learn a thing or two, just like we did in a previous video such as this. Let's get right into it. So first of all, let's look at the location that I shot this video at. This particular location is a warehouse in the middle of Kumasi, where I live here in Ghana. And I've shot a couple of content at this particular location, from photo shoots, which I even have videos of that, BTS, of all the shoots that I've done over here on my YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked any of them out, I'm gonna leave a card over here so that you I think it's over there. I'm gonna leave a card over there so you can have a look at how the environment looks like, and not just the warehouse, because in this particular video and the music video I shot everything entirely within the warehouse in that particular environment, and shot it in the night, and so we wouldn't have any artificial light peeking through. So every light that I used in this particular video was artificial, and I could control everything as I wanted. The reason why I chose this warehouse was that, you know, shooting in the night, you don't always have to have the best of locations. Many a time you would want to expose the background or whatnot, but for this particular video I realized that looking at the concept, I was gonna go with the contrast feel that I always love for almost all my videos. People normally ask me why I love these contrasting looks to my videos, and the reason is that I just love it. And it's something that I love, and my clients love that as well. So I just do it, and I get better and better at it anytime I try it out again. This warehouse is for public use, and because of that, you don't always get it in its tidiest way or its tidiest look. So we had to clean out a lot of things, move a lot of things out of the way to clean the set, and, you know, make sure that every nook and cranny in this particular warehouse was the best for the look that we were going for. And so we drove in a car as a prop for the concept of this video. We didn't really need so much because it was just one artist, and all that I had as a plan for the concept of this video was to use lighting to give the feel of aesthetics to this particular video. For the lighting for this particular video, we didn't really go for high budget lighting. We used event lights, if I should say, and these lights can give you the luxury or the liberty to change the colors of the lights anytime you wanted. But because these lights are not really ideal for filming music videos, I had to find a way to battle it out and even out and compensate for the light loss and also the inadequacy of light that the lights produced. And these lights, even though they don't produce the most of luminosity, I could still use it because of the lighting, color, versatility that it could give. So I had someone on set to help me out. He actually owns these lights, and I always love to have him on set because he knows his way around these lights. He owns them, and of course, finding the colors at the right time and putting them in particular spots, he's the best person to always, call on to do that for me. And together with that, for key lighting, I had to go with my SL60W, which has a very good CRI. That's the color rendition index, so that I could get accurate skin tones for the look or for the artist in the shot. I went for harsh lighting for the entirety of the film, and so there wasn't any modifier like, let's say, a softbox or whatsoever. I went for bare lighting from the LED spotlight, and it hit my subject very, very well, and I could, set my camera to make it look pleasing. And you know that the ratio of having the light very close to your subject as against away from the subject is very, very different, and it's very, very noticeable. So if you are looking at getting your light close or getting it further away from the subject, you should know what look you're going to have in the end. So having a clear understanding of lighting is much more important here. Coming to my camera setup, I use my Lumix GH5 from Panasonic, coupled with, for stabilization purposes, my DJI Ronin S, which I've been using this particular setup for a lot of music videos that I've shot ever since I started shooting music videos professionally. And this setup, because I've been using it for quite some time, I was actually in the know of how my look was all gonna be. So putting this together wasn't a difficult one or a challenging one as it was before when I started using the setup. So one important tip is that sticking with one setup is going to help you, make your work process very easy. Of course, at some point in our professional career, we're going to have to, upgrade and look out for something better than what we're using right now. But once you stay with one setup for a very long time, you're able to push its limits beyond what it can actually do. Because what's important is you, the one standing behind the camera, and not what the camera is all about. Okay, so coming to the camera movement, I didn't do so much. I didn't really do a lot. I just had the camera mounted on the gimbal and I moved around as I wanted. This warehouse wasn't really the best in composure, and so I had to fix my lighting in very much contrasting look so that I wouldn't have to reveal so much or bring a lot of things that I wouldn't like in the frame appear in the video. So I concealed almost all the places that I didn't like and situated the light exactly on the set on the vehicle as well as on the subject. For the lighting, I forgot to mention this, that we positioned one of these colored lights, this versatile colored LED lights that are used for events and not particularly for music videos. We positioned one inside the vehicle and placed the fog machine within the car, rolled up the glass so that the fog will escape from where we wanted it to. So we rolled all the glasses, as I said earlier, and left, I think, one window open so that the fog will be controlled and escape through there. But we didn't actually entirely close the other windows. We left a little bit of a gap so that the fog would seep through from behind, because I had one light positioned back there to serve as a rim for my subject and also to expose the fog as it came out from the car. So directing the artist wasn't very difficult, because this artist is someone I've actually worked with over and over again, and so because of the confidence he had in me, I was able to use my own discretion to position him here and there. So for the first part, I had him on foot, so he performed in front of the vehicle with the light within the vehicle with the fog coming out from the car. But first of all, I think we shot this and didn't really put the fog into use, but after some time I realized that I needed to bring that to create more interest in the look. So the fog was introduced later on after shooting without it. Then I put the artist right on top of the vehicle for another look. Then I shot having the camera pointed upwards so that I wouldn't risk revealing what I didn't want in the frame, from the background into the shot. So most of the shots were shot from below, having the camera pointed above so that it will hit the subject with a rim light from behind, so that we could also see the fog coming out, just like the frame that you see right now. And we had another light throwing here and there. I think my friend who handled the light calls it a moving head because it moves, and the light was hitting the roof for the most part. And that's how we got that look for the shot with the artist standing and when we had the artist on top of the vehicle. And that was about that. I didn't have my artist change so many times, so I think it was just twice. The first part with him having a reflective costume on top of what he was actually wearing underneath, and the second part was with him wearing a white costume, I think top white with a jacket, I think it was black, and as well as a white pair of trousers with some sneakers, of course, to match it, white sneakers for the most part. And that was what he wore for the second look. And the second look similarly had the same effect, just that this time, unlike the first part, we didn't have the vehicle in a sideways, but rather we had the headlights pointing towards the camera so that the fog would seep out from underneath. I took some B-rolls first of all with that particular look and had the fog put back or installed back into the vehicle with the artist standing in front, and I changed a lot of the shot sizes so that I could get variety of looks. First of all, with the depth of field so that I could blur out the background, still having, of course, the light in the shot. And having the light in the shot also gave a very interesting look, because with the fog, first of all, being exposed by the light coming from behind, it also hit the back of the head of my subject, and it created a very nice rim lighting for my subject. Here, of course, we maintained the moving head also in the background. Probably you may not really see it, but I actually had the moving head working. And also I didn't move the LED colored light, versatile lights, an inch away from the vehicle. It was still installed in the vehicle, creating different looks for us as we went along with the shoot. And that was just about that for this entire look. So let's look at a lighting breakdown of how the light hit my subject, hit the props, hit the entire set, and how it interacted with all these things that I have spoken about. So let's get right into the lighting breakdown. All right, welcome to the lighting breakdown of the music video. As I promised, I'm going to talk about how I positioned the lights and how the lights affected my subject, as well as the environment and the props in addition. All right, so the first thing that I did, or I spoke about in the explanation or description of the video, is that I used an LED light in here. And this particular LED light within the vehicle is very versatile, and so I could change the color as how I wanted it to be. So you can see in this particular image, I'm going to come to this frame. You realize that the light in here is orange and over here is blue, and so it was the same light that I placed in there that we could change the color to match up with anything or to create complementary colors in the frame. All right, so there's a key light coming from there, from right to left, and it's lighting up my subject from this side. You realize that it's not actually touching these areas, and these areas are in darkness because the light is positioned a little bit off from the subject, and so the subject isn't necessarily lit up totally flat. All right, and this creates three-dimensional look to it, just like I always say in most of the videos that I describe my lighting. All right, so the car is black also, and it was creating more contrast, and because it's black, I had to find a way to make it stand out. Luckily for me, the paint is actually glossy, and so it reflected some light off, just like you see a spotlight over here coming from the key light all the way, hitting the side, hitting my subject first of all, and creating a little bit of an escape to hit this area. Normally it wouldn't really be ideal to have these spots, these hot spots, but I could get away with it anyway. So that's how I lit up this space. But I almost forgot to talk about this particular area. You realize that there's a little bit of a glow as compared to this side, which is totally dark. All right, so this particular area is being lit up by a light behind the vehicle over there, and it's hitting the side to create visual interest as well. So that's about this particular frame. And of course there's a fog coming out from the vehicle because we placed a fog machine within the car. All right, and that's about this particular frame. Let's move on to the next frame. This particular frame, I positioned my subject on top of the vehicle, all right, unlike this one where he was standing right in front of it. So to create some visual interest and also some activity and difference and versatility in the shots, I made him sit on top of the vehicle, and you realize that the fog is actually coming out much more because of where I positioned my rim light coming from behind, hitting the side of my subject. You realize that it's carving him out of the black background, and it's also lighting up the fog. Most importantly, there's an orange light in there helping complement this color of the reflective costume that the subject is wearing. All right, and that's about that for this frame as well. So moving on to the next frame, you realize that my subject is wearing something different, all right, and he's standing out much more from the background, and you realize that this light also creates some sort of visual interest first of all, and also carves out my subject over here. So you see some fringes in here. It's all being created by the light coming from there. All right, my subject normally wears glasses, all right, so these glasses are catching some light from the key light coming from above. So you realize that my key light is coming from above, hitting the forehead of my subject, lighting up his body entirely. So I'm looking at how evenly he's lit, tells that the light was right before him, so it was coming from above. That's why the glasses is catching some light, having his face looking upward, right? And that's about this particular shot. So moving on to the next frame, it's quite similar to this particular shot because the same position, but this time realize that the car is still actually behind him, and it is helping the fog to be controlled and escape in a reasonable measure as we wanted it. All right, so the light is actually right behind my subject. That's why you find this halo or fringes around him, and the light is actually hidden right behind him, and this is to create this halo, unlike having this particular shot where it was just the fringes that you could see, or the effect of the light that you could see with the light also being exposed in the shot. But this time the light was actually hidden behind my subject, still maintaining my key light from where it is, but this time it's a little bit off from the left. Okay, that's why you see some shadows in here. All right, in here, that's why you see some shadows in here, because the light is coming from the left, unlike here where it was just right above him and it evenly lit his face up. Okay, so moving on to the next shot, I have the headlights of the vehicle in the shot to create some visual interest first of all, and also maintaining my orange LED light in there to also create some aesthetics, and my subject wearing white, okay, helps him stand out of the dark background and the dark theme. All right, so that's essentially what I did for this particular frame. Moving on to the next, took a wide shot. So what I normally do is I take some different shot sizes of the same frame, of the same arrangement, the same positioning of props and lighting, so I can get some variety to choose from. All right, so again, light is coming from here, key light is being held up. All right, being held up, coming all the way this way, and my rim light still being maintained in the same spot, the fog coming out of the vehicle, as well as the orange LED light in here. Okay, all of these are separating themselves from each other to create some visual interest, and realize that there's some fringes being created by this headlight coming from the car, carving him out of the background as well. And you notice another light being introduced in here, shining against the vehicle. Had it not been there, this particular part would have been pitch black and wouldn't be able to single it out from the dark background. All right, so that's the reason why I placed this light down below, and it looked pretty good, so I didn't have to necessarily omit it out or frame it out of the shot. And that's about that. Thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and comment on it and tell me what you think. And if you love these videos, please let me know so that I can create more. And also, don't forget to turn on the post notification button to be notified anytime I upload a new video onto my YouTube channel. Until the next video, have a wonderful day. See ya.